We on.
Hey, y'all. Happy Thursday. And look, we're back together again.
Back together again in the same space.
Ooh. You're drinking?
Oh, I'm not drinking. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I was actually parched. That was me trying to properly hydrate. Drink your water, people. But anyway.
Listen, we have something we have something important that we think we want to talk to you about. We think it's important.
You do that every week, though?
Yeah.
Why don't you start like that?
But I really feel like this is important because we've been talking about surrender all month. And for some people, the idea of surrender
makes you want to vomit in your mouth. We all know.
Hard. It's just like, I don't like that word. It's like moist for some people. They like,
I'm one of those people.
You see that moist on your face?
Disgust.
So sometimes when you say surrender, people think, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about it, because we all struggle for control as being human beings and going through life and having been through life. But what if I told you that the true key to freedom is letting go? And you've been hearing everybody say it. Let it go, let it go. All the let it go songs.
Forget if you don't want it.
All the things. But the art, I think we have a wrong idea about surrender. The art of surrender is not giving up or admitting defeat. It's practicing the art of surrender is kind of shifting control from your ego that wants to run everything to
which
your
we talked about last week.
Authentic self. So it's about the ego learning to support the true self, striving for guidance and divine timing to lead the way. And it's kind of a powerful approach to life that can lead you to inner peace and personal growth. And if that sounds interesting to you, like something you want to know more about, then stick around. We're going to talk about it.
Right.
Hi, I'm Pam Williams, a mother.
And I'm Jessica E. Williams, a daughter. And this is a mother and a daughter truthful chat, where we discuss our 35-year multi-layered relationship.
We've been through so many ups and downs. Not only are we family, but we're business partners in the high-stress world of event planning and production for short films.
We've also shared the same therapist for over 10 years. What some people call codependence, we call collaboration.
So join us as we share stories from our lives,
have candid conversations with other mother-daughter duos,
and shed light on the roller coaster ride of being a woman while raising a woman.
All right, people.
All righty. Welcome to Truthful Chats. Hopefully this is not your first time here, but if it is, welcome. Clink, clink.
Clink the glasses.
Clink.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassie.
Black. Go ahead.
All right. So we have this.
We're drinking water. There's nothing special.
Yeah. No.
Hydration. That's why I grabbed the cup early.
Yeah, just plain old water today. So listen, Truthful Chats, we created, it's designed to engage us in the ongoing practice of getting to generational wellness. And I know that's a weird term. You may not have heard it before. It's because we made it up.
It's ours.
It's ours. Let us know if you hear anybody else trying to rep it on the internets like it's theirs, because it's not. It's ours. And so each week we have an overall brand called Creating Generational Wellness. And every month we have a theme of the month. And it's not just for you, it's for us. We're working on it as well. And then when we come to our Truthful Chat, we unpack that theme a little bit and talk about whatever it is that we're dealing with in the month. So if you've been here all month, you know we went to the Sarah Jakes Woman Evolve Conference, and the theme of it was surrender. So
Sarah Jakes Roberts.
What did I say?
You just said Sarah Jakes.
Sarah Jakes
respect Roberts' name.
That's the people out here trying to catfish with him. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, bro, you corny for that. Don't do that. Don't do that. A pastor, nigga, pick a basketball player or something. Pick a rapper. You gonna pick a pastor, a well-known pastor? Take catfish.
Anyway, if y'all don't know. But anyway, so we went to the conference. The theme was surrender. And man, it hit us both in the chest like, boom, surrender. So we have been still musing about that over the month. We've been talking about different ways to surrender. But then I thought about the fact that sometimes you just got to surrender to the idea of surrendering. you don't even want to, like I said, you don't even want to talk about it. You don't want to surrender your pride. You don't want to surrender your ego. You don't want to surrender your expectation. You don't want to surrender anything because you hate the word surrender. So we want to leave you at the end of this month with an idea about how beautiful the process of surrender can be, and that it is an art and you can learn it.
So yes, that being said, the theme of the month is for October is surrender. Okay, last one of the month. And today's chat is surrender is an art. Okay, so let's get into it. So learning to surrender is a process that really, requires you to have a lot of courage, right? Because you are talking about uncertainties in life, period, whether that be your relationship, your job, your relationship to God, the election, whatever the things are that you're concerned about. So it might not always feel like you're progressing in this area, but if you're making the ongoing effort to like let go, shout out to Keisha Cole, and sort of trust in this process of like, okay, I don't have to be in control of everything. I can kind of let things go. That in and of itself, that you're like even willing to do that, right, is a sign of personal strength and development, because a lot of people be like, if I'm not controlling it, then I can't look down. And you're like, oh, relax.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so when you're not doing this and squeezing the life out of everything, it really opens you up to new possibilities and solutions that you might not have been able to think about.
Say that, girl.
Listen, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but if the shoe fits, you're not really, you're not relaxed and open to what can happen because you're tense. So surrendering really gives you the opportunity to have a broader perspective, right? You can think a little freer, you can relax a little, okay? And it's really like an act of self-care because it helps you alleviate your stress and your anxiety because you're like, everything gonna work out, everything gonna be fine. Now you might put some elbow grease with it, do some work, whatever the thing might be, but overall, you just like, you trust them, like it's gonna work out. I don't have to stress about it every second of every day, of every minute, of every hour, of everything, okay? So the idea of surrender being a good thing still probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you, but based on this visual, it might be like, ooh, is that how I look when I don't surrender? Yes. And that's all of us. But it really takes, I'm parched today, a minute to be able to do that. And we're going to talk about it today. So how do you embrace uncertainty, right? How do you release your grip on life, the control that you think is going to really do something? Because are you really in control or is it just an illusion? That's actually why I really enjoy Scissor's Control album. I thought her mother and her grandmother made some really great points about control is really an illusion. Go back and listen to it different ears. You might hear something different than just my man is your man, is fish man, is her man. Anyway, so really learning to surrender just, again, opens us up to new possibilities, new ways of thinking, being. We can strengthen our relationships because we're not so tight-fisted about just the way the relationship has to go. And if you don't do it like that, then I'm walking out and I'm just trying to control somebody, right? It can also help us find our life's purpose. And it's really just a journey of self-discovery, which is really everything we always be talking about on Truthful Chats. If we're really honest, everything about Truthful Chats is like, okay, let's help all of us do some self-discovery to figure out like what authentically works for us. And then how can we just show up, right? And navigate all of the challenges of uncertainty with grace, tap into our authentic selves a little more, and just have a lifestyle, all right, that's surrounded in freedom and love and not being so freaking tight about everything all the time, because that's just craziness.
Right. So let's try to understand the nature of surrender. So it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking like, oh, if I surrender, I'm weak or I'm passive or ain't nobody gonna run over me. So
you don't run me.
You don't run me. So sometimes when you get into that space, the idea of surrendering, like I said, is just absolutely foreign to you. You can't, you don't think it's a good thing. You don't see why anybody would want to do it, but it isn't about admitting defeat or conceding to life's challenges. It's really a deliberate,
or another person.
Yeah.
That's the first time we
are. It's a deliberate and empowering choice, because if you can make the decision like, hey, I ain't gonna worry about that. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let the control go. and I'm going to open myself up to whatever else the universe, God, whoever
you ascribe to
is trying to show me. Because a lot of times, our hands are closed so tight with what we think we got to hold on to that there's somebody trying to put something in our hand.
But you can't receive it. Okay. The Lord really came at me about that one time. And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. I can't argue with that. He was like, if I was going to give you something else, where are you going to put it?
Yeah.
Dang, you're right.
Yep. Because you got to hold on so tight. So release that grip, on control. We're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to align yourself with your authentic self. And this is why we are always urging you to try to do that process of self-discovery and self-awareness so you can know who your authentic self,
who you are, in touch with your star player, as Cat Williams will say.
And then shift your perspective a little bit, because the energy that it takes to be in control all the time.
Energy that it takes to be in control. Y'all like, I'm tired. I'm hurting. I got a headache. I can't walk. I'm falling over. I'm just so tired. I don't have no energy for anything. It's the energy.
That's the energy that you're putting.
That's what you're expending. That's what you're spending money on energetically.
So you got to figure out how to redirect your efforts more effectively. How to take that energy, push it over, move it somewhere else. All right. So you might be asking, how do I do that? How do I redirect my efforts? Well, the first thing you have to do is admit your vulnerability and acknowledge that you don't have all the answers.
That's already some of y'all problems.
I know somebody already had a fit about that. I do have all the answers. I know better than the rest of these people around here.
Do you though?
But
control is an illusion.
It's an illusion. So that can be really hard for a lot of us. I'm going to raise my hand on that. But if you can manage to do it.
Drink some water. Don't nobody want to hear all that phlegm.
It's not going to help.
It's bad for the audio. Do a little gargle or something. Swish swash. Even though that really disgusts me. I don't do backwash and all that.
Anyway. So listen. But if you can manage to do it, this one act of humility of saying, you know what? Maybe there's another way. Maybe somebody else has a better idea.
Interesting.
Maybe I didn't. I am. I could
you don't have to
wrong.
do all that, dog. You ain't got to do all that, dog.
I could be wrong. So that's a big step, but it's the first step in redirecting your efforts so that you're not feeling that you have to control everything. You can surrender. Create some space in your life to enjoy a little bit more. And you want to be that person, right? You want to be the person that people recognize as real and relatable and authentic and approachable. Let me tell you something. The people with the control issues are never approachable. Not really. Because if you come at them in a way that doesn't agree with them, they're going to
bite your head off. That's what's going to happen.
It's going to pop off. You're going to have to explain. You're going to have to be like, I didn't mean that. All I was saying was this, that, and other. But the idea in their head, because of the control
and that's really the key, in their head.
What it is. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that all your friends go, well, we got to deal with so-and-so because of this and that and the other. So another way that's the first way. Admit your vulnerability. Admit you could be wrong. And there could be a different way and a better way. All right. Another way to redirect your efforts is to realize that surrender might mean prioritizing a relationship over an argument. You know what I mean by that? You ain't got to win. All right.
That right there.
Relationship is more important than winning the argument.
If the relationship is important, because it could not be. Maybe you want to win, and then you might.
Maybe winning is more important to you than the
win. Win.
Yeah.
F everything else. Win. Shout out to J. Rock and Kendrick. Sometimes it is, but I would say you probably don't value that relationship.
Yeah, but then if you go through life all the time like that, you're not going to have any relationships. You're not going to have any connection.
Unless that's what you want.
You're going to be so isolated from everyone because you don't know how to practice empathy. Mm-hmm. You don't know how to listen well to others.
It sounds like we're being accusatory, but we're talking to ourselves.
Yes.
We've definitely done this. We're definitely both guilty.
And you have to be willing to compromise. I know you didn't. And you have to be willing to compromise. Compromise is a form of surrender as well, because you have to decide, all right, I'm going to meet in the middle. So meeting in the middle means you gave up something on your end. You had to move from, if it's here and y'all move into a position here, you gave up some stuff over here, but the other person gave up some stuff over here too. And so that
we're meeting in the middle.
We're meeting in the middle. So that is another way that you can redirect your efforts. So let's talk about work. I know some of y'all redirecting your efforts at work can seem like, oh no, I'm not surrendering nothing over here with these people.
Because let's be real, maybe your team is trash and you like, I'm a manager.
Your boss is trash or whatever. Whoever.
Mess me up.
Yeah.
But it happens.
But sometimes, again, this is going to be a pride issue for some of y'all, but you may have to admit, you know what, this project isn't working this way. Let me get some other people to come in and talk about maybe a way that it could work better. Let me delegate some tasks here. Let me ask for help. Point aside, Pastor Ray preached one of the best messages on Sunday I have ever heard about asking for help. Hope's House,
need it.
Go get it if you need it.
It's just on YouTube. Just type it in, Hope's House. You want the one in Granada Hills. I think there's another one.
Yeah, you want the one in Granada Hills. But anyway, we need help. You might need help and you might be too prideful to ask for it. You need to ask yourself that. Discover whether or not you're too prideful to ask for help.
And remember, pride is the devil.
Yeah. Success requires teamwork. Success in whatever you're doing, in your family, in your work, in your relationship, whatever. Different perspectives make the pot better. You know, you don't have to agree with it, but you can at least listen to it and see if maybe, you know what, that part of that I can use. This part of this I might not be able to use. But being open to admitting that there is a different way, that there could possibly be a different way, will help you. You ain't got to be everybody's savior.
Which also requires humility.
Yep, that requires humility and vulnerability as well.
Big facts. So this is another thing to surrender, right? In terms of health. If we're talking in that space, that can really mean accepting your limitations. There might be some things you're not able to do anymore.
That's when the preacher says, look straight ahead. Don't look at your
I'm not though. I'm being petty and I'm being rebellious. And you know, again, we're back to asking for help where you need it. Everybody's bodies is breaking down in various shapes, forms, and sizes. Okay. So sometimes, you know, you used to be able to run 5 miles. You used to be able to, but them shins,
stay up all night.
It might not be a thing. So if you want to be sustainable, long lasting, have a long life, when we're talking about long-term health benefits, some things you got to slow down on. Like my friend today really hurt his knee and he was out here running. And I was like, I don't know that you should be doing that.
Because he just had an MRI on his knee.
And he needs to go talk to a specialist. So that's what I'm saying. But he was like, but I gotta, and I need to. And I was like, okay, well, it's your knee, it's your body, but I think you should surrender to the healing.
I did good this week, though.
Did you?
I've taken quite a few naps, which is, you know.
Girl, that ain't no thing.
That's a big deal for me.
Okay, fine. It's surrender to rest for Pam.
It's surrender to rest.
She wanted to do it, but
don't belittle my surrender.
And I am, because every time she take a nap, she feel like she really doing something. Now, all the other things she should also be adjusting. She ain't gonna adjust that, but she always wants you to big her up for taking naps. But yeah, hey, we big her up for taking naps. Baby steps. Yay, naps. I mean, she just got back from a trip.
We just said celebrate a
normal person.
Celebrate
a normal person who just got back from a trip like I did when I got back to my trip. I'm gonna sleep. I don't care. I'm gonna take a nap in the middle of the day. I'm not gonna feel no shame. I'm not gonna feel no way. Somebody else is like, this is just unacceptable. Mind you, ain't got nothing really to do. That has to be done. This is stuff you want to do. It don't have to be done. So, you know, yay, nap. Anyway, the art of surrender is about releasing your ego, okay, and your personal preferences, and facing your fears and having the courage to sometimes step out of your comfort zone, considering what the thing is.
My fear with taking a nap is I'm going to be behind.
For what?
No, you were going to say
for that. What? What are you behind for?
Like, I have a schedule. In my phone, I have
for what? Who is going to come and be like, Pam, you're not on schedule?
Me. I have a weekly thing in my phone.
See?
So
when things have to do with you, then you got to let them do with you, because You don't want to relinquish no control. They go over the schedule on the schedule and things for the schedule. I'm going to classes to work in my books.
They're not gonna like that you're calling your mama an N-word.
Okay. Go to a different podcast. Anyway,
we mean it in the best way possible.
It's about relinquishing. I didn't mean just you. I mean anybody. Relinquishing control, okay? Because control of the schedule for what? No one is coming to hassle you about the schedule except you.
You don't know.
They're not gonna. No one is coming. No, look at me in my eyes. No one is coming to hassle her about a schedule. This is all in her mental mind, and I'm gonna let her do what she got to do. But she don't want to relinquish control,
I'm doing better.
And neither do some of y'all. That's what she keeps telling herself. But sure, she took some naps, so now she's doing better. Anyway, when you're wholeheartedly embracing whatever life has for you, okay, that helps, right? But that's a part of you. Got to relinquish control in order to be able to do that. Okay, it's a pride check. You got to be like, I really think I'm doing things for a schedule that's really important to me, which is fine, but there's no consequences for this. It's just you didn't get it done today, you get it done the other day. There's no task police. She is the task police and the enforcer. So when you think about it, surrender is actually our natural state of being, right? If you look at a kid, they just have an intimate and innate ability to like ebb and flow, right, with life. Because they're not in control of nothing, too. That's the other thing. They're not in control.
They don't even know they should be in control.
You gonna take them where you want to take them when they won't take when you need to go somewhere and they're gonna roll with it. And they might, as they get older, start throwing temper tantrums and have issues.
Yeah, but that's a very
dominance
good point.
And opinions. But for the most part, what they gonna do?
How you react to kids when they start doing that tells them how much control they have.
Correct.
Like if you stop everything every time the child, or if you let them get their way, or if they fall out in the grocery store and you buy them the toy and this, that, and the other, whatever you give them back when they start trying to figure out their control determines how much control they think they have in the house. And that's when you have the problems.
That's a free parenting, Jim. But anywho,
I drop them when I can.
Children grow up, okay? They ebbing and flowing with all the different changes. There's not a whole lot of hoopla about it. But as we grow and develop, right, we have mechanisms, defense strategies, things that really create a resistance or block our capacity to surrender. And sometimes for good reason. We always going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to shade you for being who you've been for 20, 30, 40, 50 some odd years just because we started listening to this podcast. But it's like that might have served you then, but it's not serving you now. So again, that is the ebb and flow, right? That is a level of surrender to be like, I was this person for X amount of time that really served me, but now I'm seeing that is problematic for my health, that things are probably going to the left. Maybe I should adjust, but that takes time. Anyway, the strategies from your previous experiences, we're not coming for you. You're okay for them, just experience. You ain't the only one. I've had to do this. We all had to do this.
Amen.
All the strategies that you have that work for you in previous seasons and experiences. I talked to Tremaine about this morning. They're all trapped in our bodies, right? Many traumas, major traumas, all of that. Survival mechanism. You are meant to survive your negative experiences, but you ain't supposed to stay there and adopt them as full-on lifestyle precedents. Choices, of like, This is what we always do, right? You should give yourself the ability to be able to surrender what's not working and surrender to something better, okay? But practicing surrender takes time, as we continue to say, but it opens you up to infinite possibilities. Again, you're not squeezing, you're not holding on, you're not like, I've always done it this way, so I got to keep doing it this way. So you're just not limited by your past experiences, your preconceived notions, which you talk about a lot on here, because you'll be able instead to be fluid, to be in tune with the flow of life and allow yourself to be guided by other kinds of things, other kinds of people, other kinds of ways of doing things, which is part of your evolution. I hope you don't want to be the same at 37 that you are at 69. You know what I'm saying? I will hope that you will want to be a different kind of person. Yeah. And surrender, again, doesn't mean you get less out of life, okay? Or that you gonna miss something. Like, again, control is an illusion. If you think you can always control things, you might miss out on something because you're trying to control something.
You're going to miss out on something.
I hope you heard what you said.
You're going to miss out on something.
I meant for you. I didn't mean for anybody else.
Listen, for you. I will miss out on things if I try to.
Okay, all right. So On the contrary, though, right, it often, this sort of like surrendering thing, right, allows you to manifest more things, right? If you just give up the stuff and you're like, okay, let me open my hands to what else there might be, okay? Who knows what you could stumble upon at the end of the day, right? And a lot of the fears or control or whatever you're going on has to do with your limited logical mind, your ego, right? All that kind of stuff we talked about last week in the Pride episode. So literally surrender is like a password to freedom, right? It's you're unlocking some things like fulfillment, purpose, boundless possibilities, any of the number of things that could be open and available to you if you weren't so stuck on whatever said thing is that you're stuck on, that if you feel like if you surrender, your whole world is going to fall apart. And I would say that that's a trauma response. Again, you learn that from somewhere. It served you in some capacity. Like, I'm not mad at it, bro, but I'm just saying, open yourself up to the fact that there may be some other possibilities and that you can do that when you're not super married to the way you used to always do things or be or participate in things, whatever the case may be.
I'm excited because we're surrendering some things about the podcast.
Oh, for sure.
To some people who have more knowledge about
more knowledge,
a lot of what we're trying to do than we do.
And in my full humility, I was like, well, y'all should, they was like, well, you should do this. And I said, well, you should be producers because that's what I feel like. Let your expertise shine. Okay.
Yes. We don't have
expertise shine.
Any pride when it comes to, yes, please help us, tell us,
please help us,
show us. So we're surrendering and hopefully that will
I'm very happy to do it.
Yes.
I don't know how she feels. It's probably
I'm very happy to surrender. I may not agree with everything, but I'm happy for the help and I'm happy to surrender and to have other conversations about it than just the two of us. That's the other thing about surrendering, because we're surrendering and letting some other people help us. Now we're getting other voices and other opinions and other expertise that's coming in. Again, that's the process of letting go, thinking that we have to do everything. And we don't.
Now, I will say this. Sometimes the buck stops with you. So too many outside opinions going to stop you from making a decision. Or too many outside opinions is going to be in some paralysis. I've definitely been in spaces like that where I'd be like, it's too many people talking. I can't focus on what I need to focus. You could give me your suggestion, your opinion. I might not take it. You should not necessarily feel no type of way about that. But I think sometimes when there's too many voices, then you start to not trust your own intuition and not trust your own surrendering to what's on the inside of you that's telling you to do a certain thing. So, I don't know the situation, but it's up in the air. Sometimes it's good to listen to other people's voices, opinions, add people's thing in there. And sometimes you can still hear that, but then you got to sit with yourself and be like, what is my inner person telling me to do?
Yeah. But again, part of that is now you heard it, you have the conversation, you have the information, and you can make a decision based on the information that you have. Because surrender comes, it also involves being open to life's lessons and willing to be a student versus a know-it-all. If you can, the smartest people I ever know are always learning. They're always reading. They're always finding out more information, and that impacts who they are in life as a person. So it's a growth mindset, and it helps you to cultivate resilience and adaptability and intelligence, which are crucial skills,
especially in this day and age,
to navigate life's up and downs. There's a lot of ignorance in America. Amen.
Around the world, but we're talking
we're talking about America right now. Here. All right. So every challenge you face is an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone, acquire some new knowledge and skills, and grow, which is, again, what we're always trying to get you to do. So what do you do when you get to those difficult times where your inner peace is being challenged? You want to surrender, but you got that fight or flight thing you don't know what to do about it. You really want to maintain your inner peace. And so we talk about, these things a lot of times, but we talk about them because they work. Being mindful, practicing breath awareness, meditating, journaling, focusing on your breath, creating space for quiet time, reflection in your life.
Thanks.
It just helps.
There's really Not a whole lot of other.
Yeah, it's not.
Or maybe they are. If y'all know them, people tell them to come on the podcast.
But you got to get to those first.
Those are foundational building blocks. That's the foundation of the house of a mental and emotional health.
Of mental. So I'm going to give another parenting gem here. That other one was for free, but this one I plan to give you. So I always think of moms of young children when we start to talk about this mindfulness and taking time and making space or whatever, because I remember it can be hard when you have young children to create that time, that space, that awareness, that mindfulness, because you're busy, you got little ones, whatever. But I would encourage you to start teaching your children to do these things at an early age. So you can make breathing exercises a game with your children. You know, y'all can do it in the car. You can do it wherever. You can breathe in, breathe out, you know, make it a game, make it fun. And then teach them to have quiet time. Everybody get their own little journal, their little coloring book. Everybody, look, we're going to put some music on. You going to color, mommy's going to write. We're going to do this for
boundaries for all of us.
20, 30 minutes, however long. If your child's little, you might not be able to go, but start building the habits in early that in this family, we have quiet time. In this family, we take deep breaths or whatever. I never forget there's something on the internet about that little girl that's talking to her parents about not arguing. And she's like, Mommy, lower your voice. Lord, stop. You and Daddy can be kind. Somebody's taught her that her whole life for her to be able to turn it back around on her parents when they were arguing. So that's just a parenting tip. All right, now let's talk about another tip. It's important to cultivate acceptance of what you can't control. Now, acceptance doesn't mean that you just lay back and go, oh my God, there's nothing I could do about this, whatever. I learned the serenity prayer years and years ago, and I often say it even to this day. If you don't know what it says this. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Some stuff is out of your control. You can't do nothing about it. There are other things that you can, but you may not be doing anything about it because you just need to get up and do it. You need to have courage, and you need to be able to know the difference between the two. So this shift in focus can help you maintain a sense of inner calm, even in chaos. When you get to one of those things that you cannot do anything about, you say that prayer. You're like, listen, there's nothing I can do about this.
I can't do nothing about it.
But what can I do something about? Show me, God, and then let me get busy with that.
Cool. And then another tool you can use during difficult times when you really need some grace, okay, space to surrender, okay. Also dealing with acceptance. It's just like resisting the urge, right, to really fight against the difficult situations. Because you be like, this ain't gonna happen to me. I ain't gonna do this. We're not doing it. But sometimes just accept that this is the rain falls on the just and the unjust. It's not personal to you. It's not like, oh, woe is me. It's just life. Life be lifing. And sometimes when you do that, you create even more suffering for yourself because you got the situation going on and then you try to fight against it and they squeeze and then your nervous system be tired, as Dr. Newman teaching us. So when you practice and make a practice of acceptance, again, it's the same thing of being like, okay, this is really bad. It sucks. Let your nervous system do when it needs to do, scream, cry, fall all out. And when you take a nap and gather yourself, then you might have some other possibilities and solutions.
Clarity. I guarantee you the clarity will come.
And acceptance doesn't mean that like you approve of the situation or you like the situation or that you don't wish that it was different, right? It's just like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Truth.
God, universe, whoever you subscribe to, you've sent this to me. What should I do with it? So it's not being delusional, right? It's accepting the reality of what's happening.
Yeah. Say that again.
It's not being delusional. It's the accepting the reality of what's going on. Because some of y'all like to faith away in erroneous scriptures and whatever else y'all think is going to work, and chanting and whatever, and then still be there like, are you done? Because I'm still here. So it's accepting the reality of what's going on and choosing how you're going to respond to it from a place of clarity, a place of hopefully truth. You're being proactive rather than reactive, right? And acceptance really can help you tap into that sort of inner wisdom, that inner knowledge, which I was talking about earlier, where you might have to shut all the voices out. Yes, it's great to have information. This is the queen of information. I don't think she always need all the information, but that's how she works. I'm the type of person, I'm like, I'm gonna let you give me the information. I might not need that. Once I sit down, me and God and the intuition, we might be like, and the ancestors, they sometimes be like, bro, you ain't even gotta do all that. Just do this. And then I do it and it all flows into place, right? So it depends on how you're wired.
Yes,
but
it does. Thank you for that.
The wisdom, girl, the wisdom, right, will come and you can find some creative solutions and, ways to approach the problem. And, these are, again, those efforts that can point you in the right direction, where if you're going to expend all that energy, you at least expend it on something.
Spend it in the right
useful,
way.
Right?
Yeah.
And this also helps develop your empathy and your understanding, because when you're going through, you're going to be going through, but when you know somebody else that's going through, then you have empathy, compassion, you might be able to help them through that. And that strengthens your relationships, right? Fosters community, etc., 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 because, you done surrendered to this. You done been through it before.
Yeah, let's talk about another thing that's really important in terms of surrendering. You have to learn to release your attachment to what the outcome is going to be. A lot of times
that's difficult for me.
So you
don't feel so put upon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're looking at what the end result is going to be, and you're not living in the present. You're not living in this moment, and you're not learning the lesson that you need to learn right now in real time. Because you are
in real time. And here's the thing. Some of y'all be like, F that lesson, I don't want it. Here's the thing. You can't play God, you can't play the universe. They just gonna bring that thing back in another
around
form.
and around.
So why
and
don't you just pass it the first time, and then you ain't gotta worry about it no more. But y'all be like, I don't want to do it, it's too much. I'll surrender to the fact this your lesson, learn that thing in real time, and then you ain't gotta repeat it.
Yep. I think it's the thing for both of us, because letting go allows you to peel away the layers of responsibility. Or
you love a responsibility. I will pass.
That's why
I don't want a responsibility. See what I'm saying? I don't. If a list can help me, I can do it. If it's gonna cause me more anxiety, more stress, and more pain, and more drama, I'm like, whatever. We just gonna flow with what today is, and that's often our yin and yang. She be really trying to get me to be on responsibility, and I'm like, bro, you don't want me to become that person. I'm not gonna become that person. I'm not wired that way. But you also don't want me to be that person, because then I'll be neurotic and crazy, and my crazy gonna beat your crazy. It just is.
Okay, well, that's truthful. That's part of Truthful Chats. There you heard it. But a lot of times those layers of responsibility we put on ourselves, ain't nobody asked us to put.
Say it again. What did they say?
Nobody.
The responsibilities.
I'm growing. Nobody asked you to put those responsibilities.
So the real question is, why you asking yourself to put on the responsibility?
Exactly.
But I'll let you talk to
my
therapist about that.
I did. I always do. So, but that's a journey of self-discovery and awareness as well, as to why do I feel like I got to put all this on me when don't nobody else feel like they need me to put it.
See, she want to buck against me when I say it, but when Jermaine say it, but it's fine.
I know.
You can receive certain things for certain people.
It's true. But why do I feel like that? Why do I feel like I have to, take on the responsibility of everybody?
It's not therapy.
Okay, but I'm just telling you, that's one you have to look at, and if that's your problem, you got to surrender that. We're talking about
not your problem. It's something you're working through.
It's something you're working through. Then you have to learn how to surrender that, because the hidden strengths and talents and the energy that you do have that could be used for something else that's more important, you are using it in a way that's not fruitful and doesn't help anybody. But again, you have to go through self-discovery to figure that out. And some of y'all just don't want to look at the man in the mirror. You just don't want to see it for what it really is. And once you do, though, I'm telling you, you free yourself from the compulsion to fix things that are not in your control. And baby,
or fix things that ain't broken.
That
sometimes you just be looking for something to fix.
That's true.
And it's not
I'll give you that one.
To fix. Why do you think I'm talking to you? I'm just saying this stuff is coming out.
It's hurting. It's hurting.
That's not my problem. I'm saying it. So I'm saying so the compulsion to fix things, whether things actually need to be fixed or whether you just on your cat to save a hole. Okay. And you just feel like everybody needs to be saved.
Anyway, releasing yourself, surrendering that, releasing it is very liberating, and allows you to focus on other things that you might need to focus on. So as you practice this,
big facts.
It changes your energy state, it changes your lifestyle, changes the way you're moving and grooving.
Now you can only achieve said flow-like energy state, right? When you surrender your limiting beliefs, okay? That's a part of it too. Because again, limiting beliefs cut you off from the ability to have new possibilities, opportunities, be open to growth. And so this also takes time. I'm not saying just because you listen to this podcast, you're going to be able to do it, okay? Clearly, we're all working on our own stuff, okay? So surrender helps us to challenge our limiting beliefs, though, like being able to give those things up. I'm literally doing this, like every single day of this week. I've been doing this, like in my brain, like being like, why are you thinking like that? Why are you feeling like that? Like, well, I was literally talking to my friends about it earlier today. Because I'm always challenging myself to explore, how did you get those feelings there in the first place? How did those thoughts emerge? How did those emotions come up? Are you being triggered right now? Why are you being triggered? What's that memory attached to? It's also because I'm probably doing some method training. So that probably, and somatic yoga. When you start to do the emotional things, it unlocks all the stuff. I'm just telling you. So don't start it unless you really about it. But anyway, it encourages you to really start to put your words into action and really start to make like some realistic plans and some achievable things about how you're going to start to like tackle these particular things, right? Whether that be in your work, your friendships, your relationships, your kids, whatever your thing is, where you like start to limit your beliefs. Really this like surrendering to like, okay, I acknowledge, right? The responsible part is I acknowledge this is happening. I'm not being delusional. I'm not trying to talk myself up or hype myself up with a bunch of affirmations. I'm really feeling this way. I really feel like I'm a screw up or I'm always a failure or whatever. Okay, let's explore why that goes through, right? Or why that's happening. And these things, doing these type of exercises with your journal or your phone or whatever you do, can really help with like imposter syndrome, comparing yourself to other people. And it just gets you to a place where you can embrace more of your personal growth, your evolution, which we all about over here. And really, again, embracing uncertainty, right? That's what surrendering is. You're surrendering to the unknown of said circumstance, which helps us develop, adaptability skills. And that's just crucial for life, period, right? We always talk about adaptability and resilience in one way or another on the show. And practicing the art of surrender, you just really get to a place. It's really a trust issue. If you really just gonna break it down, it's really a trust issue. Either you trust yourself wholeheartedly. That means you're in control of all your decisions. That means you're in control of all the consequences. That means you're fully and completely responsible for everything when you do that.
Do you want to do that?
Or you decide sometimes there are things that I may need to be in partnership with God and the universe about, but the full outcome isn't always on me. Now, granted, when you do some of that stuff, you got to deal with the consequences, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really just an exercise of trust, relinquishing control, and knowing that overall everything is going to work out, however it works out, right? Everything is going to work out for my good, 8:28 for the best, right? And then this sort of trust really enables you to focus on what is actually in your control, because a lot of the times you spinning your wheels about things you literally have no control over, and missing the things that you actually have control over: your mindset, your attitude, your responses to people. Can you have a better marriage? Can you have a better friendship? Can you be a better pet owner? Whatever said thing, business owner, entrepreneur, better student, right? But you spinning your wheels about things that like you really don't have any control over. And that just gives you a better sense of personal agency and freedom. Because really freedom is really about finding this sort of like sweet spot, right? That balance between action and acceptance. You're accepting what's going on and you taking action on what's going on. If you can, or being like, I could take control, I could take action on this part, but this other thing, I can't really worry about. Like I did the class, I reached out to the people. Now, whether they buy the product or not on me. I did what I could do, right? I did the behavioral analysis thing with my kid. They got an IEP about this, blah, blah, blah. We're going to work on what we need to work on at home. But ultimately how this goes down the road for them, not in my control. I'm just going to do all I can do and leave the rest. And that sort of balance, that sweet spot of acceptance, action, acceptance, right? It's really like a lifestyle of freedom because it allows you to take inspired action, right? While also being able to remain open to the flow of life, the ebbs and flows, and you're not so locked in and tight and squeezed. Don't nobody want to be around you because you try to control everything about everybody all the time. That's just craziness, right? And again, it's an illusion. You're not really controlling that much. You feel like you are, but you're not really controlling that much. And so this type of balance really lets you set your intentions well, do realistic work and goal planning, like we were saying. You're not out here spinning your wheels trying to do something that, like, girl, you was trying to do all that? Like, why? Just focus on what you can focus. Focus on your focus, as we like to say. And then you won't, you'll do what you can do, but you won't be so heavily married or consumed to the outcome to the point that it drives you crazy. And this allows you to take steps to like remain more flexible, more open to change, more resilient, more adaptable. This is something I want to reiterate. I struggle with this on a daily basis. I've done better. I've relinquished a lot of things over the years as another surrender, but sometimes I got to go back. This is one of those foundational basic trainings of surrender. You always going to have another surrender, or you be like, I surrendered that. And you're going to be like, ooh, maybe I did. Let me go back and do my little steps. You got to take baby steps.
That's good. That's good. The journey through the art of surrender offers transformation. And for some of us, we need transformation.
Okay.
Right? You don't have inner peace. You are
it's
stuck
really important
in a place where you've been trying to get out of for a long time, and you don't understand why you can't move forward, because it's probably something you need to surrender. So by letting go of your need for control, embracing that uncertainty, you're opening yourself up to the new possibilities and the new experiences. And that's what we want for you. Like, it has an impact on everything in your life, your relationships, your work, your connections with people, your family, your children. It's something that you need to practice daily. I hate to say it, like Jess was saying, it's something that you need to practice daily and create a lifestyle of freedom that aligns with who you truly are on the inside. And know who you truly are on the inside first, so that then you know what you need to surrender. Because you can look at things, if you know yourself on the inside, you go, oh no, I don't need that. That doesn't line up with who I'm trying to be. Well, what did Prentice say last night? He was like, my goal
Princess
was
Penny, showrunner of Insecure.
Yeah, we went to a panel
documentary because we're at the Michelle Festival, which has been amazing. And so we're gonna go there right after we finish this up. But yeah, it's been amazing. But he was talking about his experience of he finally got his dream. He was able to do what he wanted. He was working on Girlfriends with Mara Barker Kill, but he was being somebody he didn't necessarily. It wasn't really authentic to him, but it's who he thought he had to be in that environment. He had to make a decision to be like, either you gonna be you 100% of the time, or
and if you get there being that person,
that's great.
Then you're supposed to be there.
But if not, then stop it. Because I was literally about to say, you're the only one that really know if you fooling yourself, right?
Yeah.
You the only one internally and inside, which is a lot of the work that I'm doing, which is harder because nobody's going to see that or know that but me. But I know when I'm feeling insecure. I know when I'm mad. I know when I'm letting old things or old patterns or old ways of doing things really affect me. Nobody's checking me on that on the inside because I could fake and act like I got it all together, right? But like that is the generational wellness of it all, right? Is you being well enough to know you on the inside about what's working, what's not working, constantly making those tweaks and those adjustments, because you can fool a lot of people some of the time, but you can't fool a lot of people all the time.
Listen.
And I'm around some people that be trying to fake with me sometime, and I be like, bro, I'm really real. I'm like, I really be about this life. I really be working. So all of that veneer and that shell you got going on, you might be fooling them over there, but you ain't fooling me. And that can frustrate people sometimes because they don't want to be around the real. They don't want to even be around truth. They don't want to be, and that's not saying I'm perfect, but I'm constantly working, and I know what it looks like when somebody's working.
Well,
like that,
you're authentic.
And when they're not. So
you might not be perfect, but
that wasn't a shameless plug. I'm just giving an example. But yes, Princess Penny really said that, and it's really served him in his career because if you know his work, he really tells like really authentic, incredible, amazing stories. Watch Uncorked on Netflix if you haven't seen it. That was his directorial debut, feature film directorial debut. So all good stuff. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, and he said his mind is always focused on the goal, on where he's trying to go. Cut the fluff, cut all the extra stuff. So surrender isn't about giving up, but finding what action steps you need to take, what acceptance you need to embrace, and that will get you to the life that you're trying to live. Hopefully you want an authentic life. There are some people that we were talking today. We were like, maybe some people don't want an authentic life, but many of us do. So let's try to get there. Love, true freedom, where you're not faking the funk and trying to be something you're not all the time. That is freaking exhausting. All right. And so if you can learn to do this, start doing baby steps. Like I said, I'm just taking naps when I hear my body and the Lord say, take a nap. And that is surrender for me, because I be trying to push through. I can't see. I'm cross-eyed.
You have too much arthritis to push through, baby.
Anyway, but start your journey of surrender.
God needs to tell you. Your body is telling you. Give me your body to tell you.
Today, you might be surprised at the changes that come in your life. You might immediately start to feel more freedom. You are quiet. You are going to lose some of that need from control, and you're going to embrace the beauty of surrender. It really is beautiful if you can learn how to do it. So as you do this, you will find yourself on the pathway to that freedom lifestyle we want you to have, and generational wellness. Imagine if you can teach this to your children. Imagine if the generation under you coming up doesn't have control issues. Oh my God. Imagine if you can go back and let some of your older relatives realize, you were doing this, this, and this, and you thought it was for this reason, but you really had control issues. And let's see if we can work through that a little bit now. So you'll no longer be constrained by those limitations, and you'll feel free to explore your life and how good it can be for you, your family, and the culture. Because Lord knows we are in a place where the culture needs to surrender some things. Amen.
Watch the party die. Okay, every day we need to surrender a lot of things. The way we've been operating behind the scenes, again, in them secret hidden places, but only you know what's really going on. But anyway, let's keep the same energy for all the predators. That's all I want to say. Despite their color, let's keep the same energy. If you've been doing wrong, you've been doing wrong, and everybody needs to be treated equally. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this Truthful Chat. New month, November. We only got 2 more months left in the year, y'all. Don't let them play y'all with these Christmas commercials. Every time I see them, I'll be like, I rebuke it. We ain't been through Halloween. We ain't gave thanks. Okay. Y'all always want to jump to Christmas early, but I'm not finna do it. We have 2 more months left in the year. But you won't have us for all of those because you only have 5 more episodes. No, 4, 5.
4 more after this.
99, 4 more actually, before we take a little break and we'll hit the 100th.
Oh no,
5. Yeah, 5. So we'll be taking the month of December off, but we'll definitely be here in November. So you got us for a little while longer before we take a little break. We're gonna revamp some things, right? We're surrendering to the process of having a bigger, better podcast, production wise and guest wise as well. We got amazing guests, but we want to invite them into like a real space. You know what I'm saying? Do some things, have crisper audio, better visuals, all that. So anyway, you ain't gonna know nothing about none of the changes or none of that. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, follow us on IG, Facebook, fan base. We're at Create Generational Wellness on all the platforms. Again, we ain't posting nothing right now because we're going through marketing transitions with our new producers. Hey y'all. And yeah, that's it, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. And we don't know what the topic is. We don't know what the word is. But Jesus will show it to us. We're surrendering to the process of not knowing, but we gonna know eventually. All right. Love y'all. Peace.